Beautiful people, thank you and welcome back to another episode of the Ignite Your Purpose Show podcast vlog, where myself, who is the storyteller, I love to tell stories, I love to talk. I'm talking daily on, situations that have happened in my life where I try to use them as knowledge to gain for myself and my listeners, to expand ourselves, to use them as basically school lessons, man. You know what I mean? Like, everything's a lesson, everything's a mirror in front of us, put there to either learn something, to be greater or worse than. And on the show, we talk longevity through healthy lifestyle. It is a mix of the mental, physical, and spiritual knowledge, something I've coined the mind, body, soul trifecta. And again, every day we're trying to be a little bit better than yesterday. Okay, everybody knows 2019 is well underway now, and there's been a lot of things happening, right? We had the full moon at the solstice before, I think it was the 23rd. Well, there was solstice, so whatever, the 21st, I think, December. We then had a full moon at the start of January, which was like a blood red moon, what it was called, blood full moon, harvest moon, all these moons. So there's been a lot of, in the zeitgeist of things, there's been a lot of people, and I'm sure you're either, and you can leave it in the comments below, or reply to me, text me, email me, all that jazz, but you can tell me if you've seen this in your zeitgeist, where there's just a lot of people who are going through a lot of shit. Relationship stuff, health stuff. I know in my life personally, I've seen some people who have just passed away, like suddenly, like seem to be healthy, they're gone. So I don't know if this is like a soul's evolution that these, it seems like in the zeitgeist, there's a lot of craziness going on that I don't think many of us can understand. So we'll call that the spiritual evolution, right? That's what I'm calling it anyway. On that note, I want to talk to you about this. And this is, again, these stories that I hear that people tell me that I use, and I go, man, yeah, why am I not doing that? Why would I wait till then? And a close friend of mine, I've worked with him on and off for many, many, many moons now, basically had some crazy diagnosis where he's only got X amount of years to live, right? Now, whether that's true or not, we're not 100% sure, but his life will never be the same. He's got some issues internally, lungs, brain, crazy issues going on. And why that is, I don't know. Seems like a pretty healthy guy. Some of the stuff we just don't have reasons for it. Anyway, we get to talking, and he was telling me, I don't really love my job. I don't really love where I'm living. I don't really love this, that, and the next. So, I want to change now. I have this short window to live my life, and I just want to do what I want to do. And that hit me super hard. Why the fuck do we wait for a diagnosis like that to start living our life? Told me he's not sure if he really loves the lady he's with. He's been with her for a hot minute, man. Like, I don't even know how long, multiple years. Doesn't know if he likes where he's living. That's a huge one. It's something I struggle with all the time. I'm not a firm lover of winter anymore, and I live in Canada, on the west coast of Canada. So, we get some pretty cold winters, right? And I just don't know when is it that we start living? You know what I mean? Is it when we get a diagnosis like that? Was it when we realize we are mortal? We know that because intellectually, I damn well know we're not promised tomorrow. And I know you know that as well. I know you could get the news tomorrow. Hey, man, it's over. You have 24 hours. You have 6 months, whatever it is. Why does it take that, or seeing somebody else struggle, where we actually only then start to question? And for me, I think, and the same things when we were talking these things, when him and I were speaking about all these issues, it was, well, how do you, here comes that program we always talk about on Ignite Your Purpose. Here comes the programming. Here comes that fear. Here comes that underlying zeitgeist of how we've been taught this whole, especially me as an immigrant coming over, you have to work. You have to have money. That's the only way you can live. So we get to talking, and it's like, okay, so let's say, I have X amount of years. Well, how am I making that money if I leave? And then we get back into the whole, we're building ourselves these prisons. We're building ourselves, these walls that we make excuses why we can't climb over them, or why we can't go around them or under them, or whatever the hell the story is, and even for me, I was like, yeah, if somebody told me I only had 5 years, I was like, okay, well, I would probably go, this is where I want to be. This is who I want to be with. I don't want to deal with that. And then buddy said to me, well, yeah, how are you going to pay for all that? How are you going to, and then we went on this tangent of, going into this rabbit hole of fear-based um, fear-based decisions that don't even exist, where the only truth could truly be is if you trust, if you have faith in the universe and what is and what's going to be provided for you, you would just go, and it might not be easy. It probably will definitely not be easy, but you would make it. You know what I mean? Like shit would end up happening that would make it, but we don't, shouldn't say we, our conversation, we definitely started putting up walls right away. Like, yeah, you know, man, that might not be, and probably couldn't do that. And how could I live there? And it was, it was as if the fear and the programming overtook the actual reality, you know, and I think that happens day to day in our lives. Um, if you're only given 6 months, what would you do? You know, would you worry about the shit you worry about now? I know I wouldn't, but yet I still, so why haven't I changed some of the things that if I know I was gone tomorrow, why am I waiting to change those things? Why am I not hustling harder? Why do sometimes I'm afraid to make that call to that certain somebody because I think he's got more of a status or less of this? You know what I'm saying? Why? Fear and worrying what others think. For me, I think that's the base of it, you know? And that needs to change, people. It's 2019. We're not in freaking high school anymore. Let's get on with this. Let's get over with this. Let's get on with what our soul's purpose is. There's a reason we're here. Not so much to have a job. It's more to have a purpose. Beautiful people, as always, I thank you. I hope that gives you something to think about. You know, and please harass me back. Let me know what, you know, what your vibe on that is. You know, if you had 6 months to live, you know, what is it that we're putting off? You know, can you take your money with you? No. All we have is our health. So if you have 6 months more of your health, what is it that you're going to do? Are you going to keep going to work to pay for Susie and Bobby and people that, you know, aren't doing shit for themselves? Or are you going to take responsibility for yourself and live your life? That's where I'm at, beautiful people. It needs to change for me too. And I'm 10 years deep in this game, man. I'm telling you, it's far from easy, but going back to the zeitgeist of, you know, the geological planetary stuff that's happening, nobody's getting out of this unscathed. We're all going to be going through it, and that's just how it is. So trust it and enjoy the ride. I guess that's all I can say, because that's what I'm going to try and do. Actually, I don't try and do that. I force myself to do that. It's not like it's natural for me all the time. I force myself into these situations where I'm absolutely forced to deal with it. So there you go. And sometimes if we don't force ourselves, the universe is going to force us for us. So do your best. Forget the rest, people. Thank you as always. And I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace. And I am out. Love y'all.